Hello folks, so welcome again to the second part of creating a custom geocoding application. So in the previous video, remember we actually got to create our geocoding locator tool, which we named Health Facility Locator, which is under the locators folder within our project. So let's just take that application again so that we see if it's actually still working like it did in the previous video before we actually get to publish this onto a server. So let's just select the locator which we want to use. So I'm just gonna leave the health facility locator on. Then I'm just gonna try and type in that point again, Marondera provincial health. As you can see, it already comes out as a suggestion, which already tells that our locator is currently working as intended. So the next thing that we need to do in order for us to use this application is for us to be able to publish it onto our server, and then once we published it, we get the REST URL which we're going to be using within our application. So this tutorial is going to be 3 parts, and now this is the second part which we're going to be publishing. And after this tutorial, we're going to be doing with some code whereby we're going to be using like the REST URL to actually get the Locator service to work. So let's just get started. So let me just close this locate tab. So over here, what I need to do first is I need to connect to my ArcGIS server. So if you have an ArcGIS server, you just need to go on insert and then connections, and then you basically just add a new ArcGIS server. So I'm not going to be adding another ArcGIS server here because I already have my server which I already added, which is currently here. So I can also have the privilege to actually rename that. So let me just rename that to my ArcGIS server, like that. Okay, so now that I've renamed this, because I normally like renaming my stuff so that I get to know what I'm using exactly. So since we already have our locator tool here, what we need to do is we just need to right click on our ArcGIS server, and then we go on publish, and then we click on Geocoding Service, and then it's going to take us to our default locator tool, and then we just click on our health facility locator, and then we just say that's okay, and then we wait for the sharing tab to actually open so that we get to configure. So as you have already seen, our locator is named Health Facility Locator. So I'm just gonna put a summary there. I'm just gonna say easily locate health facilities in Zimbabwe, and then I've just put a tag health locator, and then maybe just gonna place tutorial like that, and then it's like within my server I've divided these things into folders. So I'm just gonna look for a folder where I'm going to place this. So let me just create another folder which I'm going to name tutorials. So I'm going to create a folder which is going to be named tutorials, and then once I'm done with that, I'm just gonna need to analyze this. So as you have seen, I've analyzed my locator tool, and it has told me that your locator will be copied to the server, which is exactly what I want. And as you can see, there are no errors on the errors tab. So as long as there is an error, your locator service is not going to publish. So now that I have no errors and I only have one warning, which is not a warning exactly for me, because I already want my locator to be copied onto the server, which is going to help me to create our custom geocoding app. So with that said, I'm just going to click on publish, and then it is basically going to try and publish my locator tool onto the server. So as you can see here, it's saying it's preparing data references and staging locator. So this is going to take some time. So while it's publishing this locator tool using ArcGIS Pro, let me just do the same thing with ArcMap, in case any of you guys watching this are actually using ArcMap. Because it's a bit of a different approach if you're using ArcMap and if you're using ArcGIS Pro. So let me just close ArcGIS Pro, and then I go to ArcMap. So over here, I've linked the folder which contains our GIS tutorials, and I've also managed, and within this folder is also the health facility locator tool. So if I'm to right click on that, it's going to tell me I want to share as, and then I want to share as a geocoding service, and then this configuration box is going to appear. So I'm just going to click on publish a service, and then next. So it tells me, do you want to connect, do you want to create a new connection, or you want to add to an existing connection? So I'm just going to click on existing connection. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see this, you're not going to be able to see the name of this server due to confidentiality reasons, but there's going to be a server name if you're already connected to your server. If you haven't connected to your server, you can just click on this button, and then it tells you, would you want to connect as a publisher or as an administrator? So depending on your server configuration, if you're the administrator, it will be best for you to publish this as an administrator role, and if you're a publisher, then you can just choose your role as defined by your administrator. So that's it. So once I have selected my server like this, and then it's going to ask me to place a name. So right now it's currently processing, but yeah, so it's done processing. So it is taking like the default name. As you can see, it's written health facility locator, and it automatically fills in with health facility locator here. So I'm just going to click on next, and then it's going to ask me to publish to an existing folder, or would I like to create a new folder. So as you can see, I've already created a tutorials folder within ArcGIS Pro when I was using ArcGIS Pro. So meaning to say that that folder has already been created on my machine. So I can just click on tutorials, or if I need to create another new folder, because since the names are the same, which means either I have to create another folder or I have to rename this. So let me just rename this to underscore ArcMap, and then I say next, and then I place it in the tutorials folder, and then I just say continue. So once I've clicked on continue, a new screen is going to appear, which is going to require me to edit some locator configurations. So as you can see on the screen right here, I have a panel which has some options to configure, like general options, parameters, capabilities, polling, processes, and item description. So there's some mandatory processes. There's some mandatory fields that you're supposed to fill in as long as you're dealing with the locator service. So as you can see here, I'm just going to click on item description. I'm just going to put in the same summary that I did, easily locate health. Sorry, I got that wrong. Easily locate health facilities within Zimbabwe, and then the tag here is going to be health, and health, and then this is a tutorial, and then this is a locator, and then I'm just gonna paste in the description because I hate typing a longer description here. Unlike using ArcGIS Pro, it was a bit friendly, and if you want to get credits for your work, you can just say credits. So I'm just gonna type credits, Surveyor Junior, and if there are any access or user constraints, you can also add them here. So you can just say anyone is free to use this locator service. Okay, so that's it, and then I'm just need to configure some parameters here. So I'm just basically going to leave everything as default on the parameters, but on the capabilities right now is where I need to enable some content. So as you can see, it has already described a REST and a SOAP URL, which is going to be used for the configuration part. So it already generates this within ArcMap. So whenever it goes onto the portal or onto the server, it already knows it. So it already has a REST URL and a SOAP URL. So if you also want to allow people to use this as a geocoding or as a reverse geocoder, you can also enable this and disable these options. So I would like people to actually do some reverse geocoding and also some geocoding processes. So I'm just going to take that. And then on polling, I'm just going to keep that as default. And then on processes, again, I'm just going to keep that as default. And then I go back to my general, and then I'm just going to click on analyze. So as you can see, I've analyzed, and then there is an error here. So the error is telling me that this locator is invalid. So this could probably because I created, initially I had created this locator using ArcGIS Pro. As you have known, ArcMap is going to be coming to an end in 2026. So people are now starting to move from ArcMap into ArcGIS Pro. So if you create a locator in ArcGIS Pro like I did, and then you try to publish it using ArcMap, it's going to refuse because of some compatibility issues. So you'd rather create your locator service in ArcMap and then try to publish it using ArcGIS Pro. I'm sure that way it's going to work. So in this case, we need to create the same locator like we did in ArcGIS Pro using our ArcMap, and then we just follow the steps that I just presented to you, and then you can just get to publish your locator too. So as long as there's an error, like I said before, even if you try to publish this, it's not going to publish because of the error. As you can see, it already says you must fix your analysis errors before continuing. So it's not going to allow us to do that. So what we need to do right now is we need to go back to our ArcGIS Pro and see if that locator 2 was already published. Okay, so I've returned back to my ArcGIS Pro. As you can see here at the bottom, there's a successful message which is already in green. It tells me the time and the date when this process was executed. So as you can see here, it's saying successfully published locator at on the 7th of February 2022 at 19:05 hours, which was about 5 minutes ago, like before we moved on to ArcMap. So this locator 2 is actually online, and if I need to manage this too, I'm just going to click on manage the geocoding service, and then it's basically going to open up like the URL to this geocoding service. So let me just leave it to load like that, and then we can see how our geocoding service actually appears online. Okay, so currently I've managed to log in to my ArcGIS server, and if you haven't logged into your ArcGIS server, you need to log in. So I'm just going to show you the default page of ArcGIS server. So my server has this address, which I'm not obviously going to show you because I know a lot of people are going to try to attempt to enter this server, so I'm not going to show you this server for some confidentiality reasons. But anyway, the named Geocoding Service. So it's already running. As you can see here, it's already running. If I need to stop the service from running, I'm just going to click on that. If I need to delete it, just click on that icon. So let me just open the locator service so that we get to see the properties. So I'm just going to go over to capabilities and geocoding and always enabled. So in the next tutorial, we're going to be using this REST URL, which you can see over here. So these are basically like the configuration parameters of the REST URL, which we're going to be using in the next tutorial. I know right now it seems a little bit gibberish, or maybe you don't understand what exactly is actually displayed on the screen, but in the next tutorial you're going to be understanding what all this means and how you're going to be integrating this into your custom geocoding app. So we also have a SOAP URL. So REST is actually a bit easier than using SOAP, because SOAP is a bit complicated, but it's also a bit secure than REST. But I prefer using REST because I'm not really familiar with SOAP. But if anybody who's familiar with SOAP, please be sure to add like a link in the description below if you're familiar with SOAP, to the resources that can be used by anyone who's watching this tutorial in order for them to actually use SOAP URLs in creating their custom geocoding applications. So thank you guys for watching this tutorial. I hope to see you guys in the next tutorial, whereby we're going to be actually linking this now into an actual application. So the first tutorial was mainly meant for creating the actual service which you're going to be using, and then this tutorial was mainly linked in publishing this service, and now the last episode of this series is going to be linked with actually linking your web-based application to this geocoding application. So I hope to see you guys in the next tutorial. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our tutorial videos so that we also keep making more videos. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.